Welcome back to Inside the Box. I'm your host, Joanna Lee, and today for the fourth and final episode in the Asian Heritage Month series, I have here with me Koto player Yukiko Takahashi as my guest. Yukiko is part of Koto No Nekkai in Vancouver and has performed throughout the Lower Mainland. Welcome, Yukiko. It is so great to have you here.
Thank you, Joanna. Thanks for having me today.
The pleasure is all mine. So, for the first question, I was wondering about your origin story. How did you start the koto, and did you start out being classically trained?
Well, first of all, I am Japanese, and I migrated to Canada 20 years ago. And originally, I came here to explore Canadian culture, Canadian lifestyle, and also business scene. And I was gonna go back to Japan, but 20 years after, I am still here and play koto. And so yeah, how I got into koto, I was actually taking organ lessons when I was in a kindergarten. And I really liked the music, and I continued playing organ, taking lessons. And but when I was at grade one, and my teacher encouraged students to switch to a piano. So yeah, I started playing piano. But my family, we only had an organ, and but still, I played. I took the piano lesson and then practicing with organ at home. But when you get to a certain point, you really need an actual piano to practice. And so I asked my parents, okay, well, would you buy me a piano? And they are, they were telling me I've got two brothers, and they're not in the music, and definitely they're not going to need a piano. So my parents said, oh, I'm sorry, I can't get you a piano just for you. And so my mom suggested that I play koto because we had a koto in our house because she used to learn koto as well. And she actually um, played for a long time when she was younger, and she took the license to be able to teach as well. So that's how I had a koto in our house. And she was playing, she played koto once in a while. She wasn't teaching or she wasn't taking more lessons. Um, but yeah, occasionally she was playing koto. So that's how I started koto and then taking a lesson from a local teacher. And then we, as a group, performed in local events, and then also some recitals. And my teacher, and then also her teacher, she's a great master of koto. And so when they have big recitals, I could participate that couple times, fortunately. And so yeah, I was enjoying playing koto, but I quit when I was 14 because I was at the same time I was playing volleyball. My mom also used to play volleyball, and I grew up watching her playing koto and then also watch her playing volleyball. And obviously she was playing volleyball more often than playing koto. So I also got passionate about playing koto and volleyball. And then, yeah, I got more into it, and I got more serious. And then I had to decide because it took my a lot of time. So, I decided to give up my koto then. And then, the 5 years ago, and I started koto again. And because one day I was at Japanese tea ceremony workshop. My friend wanted to go, and then I agreed to join her. And just accidentally, the lady who was sitting beside me, she was Japanese. Well, she lived here for a long time, and we start talking. And because I used to wear kimono in the performance, and she was wearing kimono that day, so yeah, and quickly we started conversation, and then found out she actually taking koto lesson here, and then I was surprised. Like I lived here 15 years that time, and I didn't know anything about koto players here, or teacher or group, and so I quickly connected with the teacher, and then right away I started playing with them, and yeah, that's how I started, and then I still playing.
Wow, that's amazing that you restarted it. It also sounds like Koto was a part of your ancestral history and it was in your family for long. Speaking of history, can you tell us the history of Koto?
Yeah. So the koto, when we say koto in Japan, and the commonly we refer to a 13-string instrument, um, obviously 13 strings on it, and that was introduced to Japan in 7th and 8th centuries from China. And there is a record that there was original like koto like instrument in Japan even before, but yeah, apparently it didn't develop, and the common koto what we refer now is this one 13 string koto, and introduced from China, and then this was played in as a court music, and so that developed to the general population people, and it was all strict limited to in the court, like a court music, and then later it was played in regional so religious occasions or ritual ceremonies, and um, that's how it developed. And then from one of koto performers, Kengyo Yatsuhashi, and he developed new style from the court music, and he developed koto instrument as a solo music instrument, and this helped the koto became more popular and outside of court, and he's recognized as father of modern koto. He was very famous koto key individual for koto history for sure, and he had lots of students, and then the students developed their own style as well, and then it went um, developed to a different style, and it's called Yamada style, Ikuta style, and then Ikuta style became Miyagi, was split into a Miyagi style, and then Ikuta style, and so yeah, so Kengyo, Yatsuhashi is definitely a key person for Japanese koto history. So yeah, as I said, 17th century, the different schools started, and this Kengyo Yatsuhashi wrote new style music, which is we still play. I still play. I've got the music notes, and I really enjoy this classical piece. It was new back then, but it's really it's a classical piece for me, and it's beautiful. And then So the Yamada style and the Ikuta style developed, and then from the Ikuta style, further Miyagi style developed, and Miyagi style started by Michio Miyagi, and he's a master of the Miyagi style, and so late 1800 to early 1900, he combined Western music and traditional Japanese music, and this helped Koto culture continue because before him, the Koto culture started dying down. It wasn't as popular as before, but because of Michio Miyagi composing new style of music, combined Western music and Japanese um, traditional music, and because of him, and then development from him and then his students. I think I'm still playing now, and then um, a lot of people are still playing in Japan.
Wow, that's very fascinating. Sounds like there were many different schools of Koto. And speaking of differences, are there different types of Koto instruments?
Um, yes, so I mentioned that 13 stringed koto is the mainstream, but we also have 17 stringed instrument, and which is longer than which is longer and wider. Obviously, there's 17 strings, and then also thicker, and the string is thicker as well, and so it gives lower, deep lower range of sound.
Yes.
Yeah, and so its idea is um, cello for violin and bass guitar to for regular guitar, and so that's the idea. And then also there are 21 stringed Koto, and then also 25. But and also I think I've seen the one with more strings, and I think it was a 30. But the most common one is 13. But
Yeah,
you definitely see, set 21, 25, and some people still playing those instruments.
amazing. It's very interesting. How do you play the koto? Can you demonstrate for us?
Sure.
Okay, so Joanna, so this is a 13 string koto, and I'm gonna explain a little bit about how you position yourself. Um, as I explained, we have two mainstream koto style. One is Yamada style, and then the second one is Ikuta style. And Yamada style, the players sit straight against the instrument, and then well, we both use the three picks, and we call it tsume, and it's literally it means nails. And so there's three nails on your thumb and index finger and the middle finger, and then they play like this. And the Ikuta style, we sit diagonally against the instrument, and some people say and sit 45-degree, but I remember my teacher told me to sit along this line. And by the way, these white, the triangle things is called G. It's English. We call it bridge, and these are movable, and you can change it depends on the tune, depends on the songs that you're gonna play. And so anyway, that's the difference in the position, and then that's the also the difference in nails. And because I play Ikuta style koto, so this is how I position myself. And then yeah, so this is called bridge, and we every time you play, you make sure that you get a right sound, adjusting this bridge. And then also, and then we play right side of the string, right side of bridge, and then left side, yeah, we use it, but I'll explain a little bit later. Numbered as 1 from the first side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then after that to for 11, and the E for 12, and the kin for 13 strings. And then you'll see the number on the music notes, and that's how you know you need to play which strings. And we use the 3 tsume, and then also you can use the fourth finger or pinky finger to play like this. So yeah, that's how you use right fingers, and then you can also play like this. And yeah, what else? And well, I can't think of anything right now. And okay, so yeah, so now it's a left hand, and so basically, like, we play on right side of the bridge, and we use left hand to change the pitch. For example, or you can just or also you can pull the left side of strings towards this way, and that loosen up the tension in between, and sounds like this. that's how you use your left hand, and you might want to press halfway. Okay. Or press all the way. And yeah, you adjust how hard that you press to get the right sound, and that depends on the tension of the koto. So if you yeah, sometimes I'm so used to my own koto, so sometimes when I have to switch and then play with somebody else's koto, and the tension is different, so definitely have to practice before performance. And yeah, so that's how it works. And sometimes we use this like left hand. Yeah, that's kind of fun sound to use, for some pieces. And yeah, so that's pretty much how we play. Okay, so I will play a little bit of this piece because my koto is tuned for this piece right now. Yeah.
Thank you so much for demonstrating. I was wondering, what is the current scene of Koto in Vancouver?
In Vancouver, it definitely you don't get to see koto performance often. Um, the Koto No Nekkai, the group that I belong to, as far as I know, we're the only group that we still play koto. And so yeah, we occasionally, yeah, we perform in a Japanese local events, Nikkei Summer Festival and Spring Festival, and then also Salmon Festival in Richmond every summer that they have. Unfortunately, it was canceled because of the COVID pandemic this year, and so I don't know. We don't we have. Other events we still have gonna play, or it's gonna be they're gonna be canceled. I don't know yet, but yeah, we still play in the event, local events, and then also charity concert and Japanese schools introducing instrument to Japanese kids, and also we get invited to a senior house, and occasionally we perform in front of them. And so yeah, through the year we have some group performance here and there. And also, sometimes you get to see Japanese performers invited from Japan, and like Sakura Festival in Vancouver Garden, and often Japanese performers, not only koto players and bamboo flute um, and taiko drum, yeah. Yeah, sometimes those performers are invited, and you could see them, events as well. And yeah, so it's interesting. Like when we perform, and we we get a lot of comments after each performance, and some people are very fascinated, and how the instrument works. And some people are like passionate about kimono that we are wearing. And there's sometimes like I was asked, like, oh, how can I get the CD for these koto music, and how do I where can I take a lessons, and what do you need, and that kind of things. So yeah, definitely interesting to see like some people some people are interesting. And more often, like Japanese people from Japan, they're less interested. interest.
Oh, really?
I think they're more interested in Western,
Oh, that's
guitar, and piano, and violin, cello, and yeah. So
interesting.
yeah,
Oh,
like my friends, like my Canadian friends comes to see my performance, but none of my Japanese friends. They said, yeah, I'll come, but they often, they don't show up.
that's very unfortunate. They're missing out.
But I see like a more opportunity in Vancouver in that way, like more like Canadian people, or the people from different countries and origins who are interested in Japanese culture and in Japanese music. So definitely, I guess, more opportunity in Canada, Vancouver.
Speaking of Japan, what is the koto scene there?
The time that I used to learn koto in Japan when I was kids, and there's traditional schools, and as I said, there is several different styles. They expand, and so there's creates more teachers, and they teach to new students and new about classic pieces and classic styles. And so definitely there's a lot of people pursuing that tradition. And also some high school, some junior high school, and they have koto clubs. And so that's good opportunity for students to learn about traditional instrument. And then some koto group in schools are very like more serious. They do really good performance as well. And then I see those students, young students, who later start playing like pop music and rock music, and also like collaborating with different music, Western music, violins, cellos, and piano, guitar, and all sorts of instruments. And they developed like their new style, the new music using traditional koto. It is definitely interesting to see, and fascinating for me. And I see more opportunity. And I'm glad that the traditional side, I would say it's keeping tradition. Koto culture is probably, I think it's challenging. But young generation starting new styles and still using traditional koto. I think it's really helping to keep koto culture
Alive.
in
Yeah.
Japan. Yeah, and I think there's even like some comics about high school koto group, and that became really popular, and then it became a animation,
Oh,
and that was a really good a good exposure to a young people, and like anime generation. So yeah, not only a traditional site, and then there's this like a new style like it's developing, and that's really so fascinating for me. Good to
absolutely.
see. Yeah.
Would you say the modernization align with your goals towards the koto?
I really enjoyed learning and pursuing the classical pieces, classical styles of Koto music, but also as I said, like I'm really fascinated with the new styles, and also like collaborating with other musical instruments. And because I'm in Vancouver, we have a small group of Koto players, and so it's hard to expand and develop. Um, the Koto culture. And so, and then also it's hard to get those instruments here in Vancouver, in Canada. So I see an opportunity to have an exposure to people like by collaborating with other instrument performers, and that might be a good way, and really I want to explore that avenue,
Yes.
and while keeping that like traditional Japanese music, Koto music.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that being said, how would you celebrate Asian Heritage Month?
Well, because Koto is my Japanese identity, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to play with my group and with my teacher during this COVID, stay home. Apparently, like my teacher's gonna start having group over again. And so I'm gonna enjoy playing with them. And usually, like at this time, we are playing, practicing as a group for Japanese summer events. The Salmon Festival, and then also there is a Japanese summer festival as well. So we'll be practicing normally, but because of the this pandemic, we are not. But so gradually, we start playing together, and that'll be fun, and I think that's how we're gonna celebrate.
Well, thank you so much, Yukiko, for joining us. That wraps up today's episode. And for everyone who is watching, we hope you enjoyed the show. After this, we do have a special performance featuring Koto No Nekkai. For more information on cultural events in the Vancouver Japanese community, check out the Fraser Monthly. Stay tuned for more episodes. Please enjoy. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe below, and hit the notification bell. And until we see each other again, stay safe, stay healthy, and wash your hands. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Bye.